Okay, so back in the day when I was starting my YouTube channel for the very first time, I filmed a Meet My Chameleon video, which makes sense for a first video, and then the second video I ever filmed was a 5 myths about chameleon video. So if you want to check that out and see a super embarrassing, old, poorly filmed, poorly edited, super nervous me, feel free. But this is a part 2 5 myths about a chameleon. So the first myth that we are busting is babies can't find their food. I see this all the time. Pet shops are recommending to new keepers that they get a smaller enclosure because the babies aren't going to be able to find their food. This is total baloney. Think about it for a second. In Madagascar, in the wild, they are eating their food all the time. It's not like they're having a difficult time finding it. I've had Neptune in this exact enclosure since day one, when he was like teeny tiny, and he was able to find his food no problem. In fact, if you have their adult enclosure from the beginning, then you can have the correct temperature gradients, the correct UVB gradients, then you don't have to deal with the stress of trying to move your chameleon from a smaller enclosure to a bigger enclosure, and you don't have to deal with the cost of buying a smaller enclosure just to have to buy a bigger one a couple months later. So there you go. Myth 1, busted. Second myth, spraying your chameleon helps them shed. So this is a very big myth and is totally not true. So let's explain this one a little bit. So chameleons are dry shedders, which means very similar to humans. When we get sunburnt and start peeling, if the skin is dry, it's going to come off much easier than if it was wet. So imagine you're sunburned and then you took a shower, that dry skin's just going to stick right to you, right? Because now it's nice and wet. So that's actually going to make it very difficult for the skin to come off. So as long as your humidity levels are where they're supposed to be and you have a nice healthy chameleon, then they should have no issue shedding and should not need to be sprayed directly. Just give them time, and keep in mind as they get older, it takes them longer to shed. So second myth, busted. Third myth, female chameleons need a male in order to lay eggs. This is also baloney. Some chameleon species give live birth and some chameleon species lay eggs. The most common ones that are kept in captivity are going to be veiled and panther chameleons. Those two lay eggs. Jackson's chameleons give live birth. So let's talk about veils and panthers for a second. A female veiled or panther chameleon, very similar to chickens, will produce infertile eggs even if they've never been with a male before. Even if they've never seen a male before, they will produce these eggs. So they're not going to hatch, they're not fertile, there are not baby chameleons inside. You can totally throw them out once they lay them, but we need to know that they do this so then we can provide them with a laying bin. I do have a video all about egg laying that walks you through the entire process, how to set up a laying bin, how to help out your chameleon, because it is a pretty complicated topic. So I will link that video up above here if you guys want to check that out. But the point being is females will in fact lay eggs even if they've never been with a male. The only way the eggs will be fertile is if they have been with a male. So third myth, busted. Number 4, chameleons like to cuddle and sleep with you. So I see this a lot, especially on TikTok, where someone will have their chameleon in a little blankie and they're snuggling, or they take their chameleon out and it falls asleep on them. And us being humans, our instinct is to go, "Aw, how cute," because who doesn't love to see a cute sleeping animal? But this does not mean it's good for the chameleon, and it does not mean that they like it. In fact, what is actually happening is the chameleon's body is starting to shut down. They are so stressed, so scared of being eaten that they're closing their eyes and their body is starting to shut down. So this is an extreme stress response. So if your chameleon is starting to do this while it's outside their enclosure, that is your red flag warning sign that you need to put them back into their enclosure. And chameleons should not be handled to the point where they are that stressed out. In fact, when I handle my chameleons, they just climb onto my arm and then climb onto a fake tree that I have. They're never handled by me more than a couple minutes at a time because that's just unnecessary. Chameleons are pets that do best when they are looked at, when they are observed, and just appreciated for what they are. I'm not saying that you're unable to handle your chameleon or that you shouldn't, but you should learn the body language signs of a stressed out or defensive chameleon so you can make sure that they are doing okay. So myth number 4, busted. And number 5 is a biggie. The Chameleon kit is everything that you need, which is not true. Unfortunately, the Chameleon kit, while it seems super appealing and it seems like is a good idea, is not. And there's a few reasons why. So the Chameleon kit cage itself is much too small. The only thing that can live in there is a baby chameleon up until maybe 4 months old, and then they will need to be upgraded into a larger enclosure, so it's not really cost efficient. The Chameleon kit also comes with the incorrect UVB bulb. It comes with that compact bulb. If you continue to use that for a chameleon, they will develop metabolic bone disease, which can be fatal, and your chameleon can die. What you want is a T5 linear UVB bulb. I have those linked down below in the Amazon store if you want to check out different product recommendations. The kit also doesn't provide enough branches. It doesn't provide any plant coverage. The carpet that comes with it is not recommended for chameleons. It's just a really, really bad idea. Pretty much everything that you would use in the kit, you're just gonna have to replace anyways. So it would be a much better option would be to buy everything separately and make sure that the enclosure is set up beforehand correctly, allow the plants time to grow and provide coverage for your chameleon, and then purchase the chameleon and make sure everything's set up for them. If you want a tutorial video on how to set up a chameleon enclosure properly, I'll link that above here, but keep in mind I have over 100 care videos on my channel, so work your way through those and learn how best to take care of a chameleon. And keep in mind, the kit is not the way to do it. So myth number 5, busted. I hope this was kind of a fun, different way to learn some information about chameleons. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Leave any questions or comments down below. Feel free to subscribe so you know when I post a new video. You follow Neptune and all my chameleons on social media at Neptune the Chameleon. Feel free to check out the links down in the description box below. There you'll find links to my merch store, my Amazon store, discount links, and I even now have video consulting if you want to chat one-on-one with me or have me review your enclosure. I would be happy to do that, and you can use the booking tool linked down below. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Now I need to put like the theme song to Mythbusters in here. Get like the cool like Mythbusters. Shh, shh. You know, I don't think my editing skills are up to that, but one could dream.